I may have to conserve my bandwidth.
Yeah, sure. Oh, Janet's having trouble getting. I don't know why. Did anyone get invalid link?
No, it was fine.
All right, let me see if I can.
It took me time to get in.
Mhm.
Yeah, I wonder if she's using like the link that you sent last time
Oh,
instead of the link that's through the, it was through the email this time.
maybe. I'll send her an invite through the phone. Maybe that'll help. All right. Well, while she's joining us, I'll keep trying to help out. I just wanted to go over about 5 or 6 things just to update you guys, and also mostly to update.
Good, we're done.
So you guys, I think, are pretty much aware, maybe Arvin not as much, about all the students that we have concerns about in terms of moving into their senior
Uh-huh.
field year. Lori sent direct messages to them. Most of them have had an APPRC referral and have been through APPRC. Sherry has now sent out email to them letting them know that she's not even going to look at internships for them until their situation improves, until they're so that is going on. And then we've obviously, anytime we're together as a larger group. Hi, Janet.
Yeah.
Hi.
I
I think
Hello
we've been
there.
talking about if there's incompletes, like if there's quite a few incompletes, that we can support each other getting those students to finish.
Yeah.
But it's, I mean, I wouldn't say it's much different than what we had in the fall. There might be a couple more students that are struggling than were in the fall, but a majority of those students were able to get it done in the end. So that's, I mean, that's what I'm hoping we will be there, but it's a decent size list of students that are really struggling. So I just wanted, in case you hadn't heard that, I wanted to make sure
Okay.
that
Thank
you
you.
did. And then I think there were a couple students with concerns about graduation. I know Sandy, and I think several of them are in Sandy's section. So I know Sandy's been involved and Janet's been involved with some of that crew as well. Just a couple students that there was some concerns, and I know that Sherry and the field folks are following those carefully, and Lori is as well. But that group seemed to be faring better in general with the COVID stuff than our junior group, which has been struggling a whole lot more. Also, Sherry created OneDrive, and I think she's talked about it on here before, for all the 2010 students, for us to get their final work done and put into a folder along with their BSW application, so that all of that can go with them to the field application process, so that Sherry has all those documents, or whoever the new field director has all those documents. So they're all in one place. We've also had grads contact us in the past wanting field plans and things that we had a hard time finding because we had kept everything in paper copy. So I think the other hope is to have the final field evaluation placed in that folder, so that if, many, many years from now, we have someone saying they need proof of what they did in their field. I mean, syllabi too, they asked for that. Luckily, even if Patty hasn't necessarily kept a good record of that, they're now keeping all of our syllabi on a college level too. So that should help us out with some of that. They're pretty good if it comes at least a couple years around the time when the person was graduating. So, so that's in play. Celia, we have all Celia's students' information. We met with, I asked for a mandatory meeting of George's section from fall. We had one student come. So obviously mandatory doesn't mean the same thing to people, but it sounds like quite a few of those students were able to find an internship and were completed their evals, and George did the actual evals. I've asked him for those documents so that we can get those in the folder, but in general, that's getting cleaned up. There's only 4 students going into senior field from that group that are slightly behind on their volunteer hours. And so it's not as big of a group as we were a little frightened, because none of the students were reaching out to tell us where they were in terms of hours. So that's a manageable number. And at least 2 of them are also students having trouble with their coursework. So it doesn't add to the list that Sherry's already concerned about. So there. The update on the field director hire, Joe just emailed me today saying that he doesn't know, at this point, they really don't know. The dean doesn't know either what the hang up is. They're gonna try to see if we can get our training, our diversity training, those of us that are on the hiring committee, done, and also get an ad out while they're still screwing around with stuff. So that was the last thing that Joe told me. He was hoping that we could get an ad in like this week to the places we had said. So I'm hoping that that ends up being the case. I think the dean's super embarrassed about the bureaucracy at University of Toledo. Joe's trying to console everyone, like, this is how it is here. We never have anything go smoothly. So, I mean, I do think, quite honestly, I was surprised that they fought to replace the position. So I really feel very lucky that we're allowed to do this, and also relieve Sherry from that position that she, has done so much for, but really doesn't want to be in that space anymore. So hopefully we will hear about that soon. I've also been hearing great, positive things about there being program director pay for this summer, but I don't think it's happened for sure yet. So I guess a part of me is wondering if, as a committee, we have a plan B sort of set up. The 2 things that I'm most worried about, and I'm wondering if we can share responsibilities for over the summer, is interested students that come up over the summer. And then I would say the other thing is reaching out to associate programs. Bridge is putting together a spreadsheet really for Meredith that has all of what the GAs have done over the past 3 years in terms of reaching out to different associate degree programs. And once he gets that to me, I guess a part of me thinks if we could all take a couple places just to reach out to over the summer, that might be helpful. I know we're going to be down at least 1 GA, maybe 2 for next year. So I think
Currently we have 6 or 5.
I can't remember. I think they were saying 2. We were going to get only 2 at some point.
But I think currently we are at 3 or 4.
We are at, we have 6 right now.
No. Currently we have 6, and then in the next semester, I think 3 or 4. Mhm.
So we'll still be down. Yeah. So I think some of that stuff, I have to say, I don't know if the follow through's been super good this year on that project. So I don't know if I want us to wait the whole summer on that. So for me, I would say that's maybe a priority, that we reach out to those groups if we don't have a program director for this summer. So if I can bare bones it, I would say that's what I would say are the bare bone necessities for this summer.
So Heather, when you say reach out, what does that exactly entail?
Well, I'm asking Bridge to let us know of all the people they've actually contacted, so that we have contact names. And I think for me, it's just even linking them to our web page and just saying we're really interested in students, and that Lori's our advisor who can help the students with their transfer. information, and that we're just really excited to have students from their program. I think so. Nothing too labor intensive. I think even if we focus on the schools that Janet had talked about, that we have the Ohio level sort of transfer agreements put in place, that I think it would just be smart for us to touch base over the summer. The interested student numbers have gone up now that there's been some options, but I think Bodie's like, he stopped some of that for a little while and then starts again in the summer with interest days. So I'm guessing we're going to get quite a few interested student meetings, probably starting in June through the rest of the summer. And I mean, that's time intensive. I mean, that other stuff, I'm willing to own the, like, if we have weird adjunct stuff over the summer for fall, you know, if someone all of a sudden says, oh, I can't teach, but I I thought I could, like if we have no PD, right? So I mean, otherwise I will work with Meredith and support Meredith through the summer, but this is just in case we have no PD. And I feel like we've been pretty hardball about it, and in the end, if we don't get the money, they've fought the fight that they are going to be able to fight. But I don't know if we want. It's up to you guys. But I just thought, because we have no meetings other than this one until summer, really, that maybe as a BSW committee, at least, that we just sort of have a plan B or talk about a plan B together before.
Originally, we had also kind of identified, you know, for a plan B, the essential things that unfortunately Joe would have to assume. So, I mean, I hate to be like a real stickler about it, but it does directly affect me and my livelihood. So therefore, I mean, I would like that real emphasis of our plan B to be going, okay, I'm sorry, Joe, here you go. I mean, I know it would be a small little detriment to our program if, you know, because of like interest days. I mean, the reaching out to the associate programs, I think, is very simple. Is not time intensive. That is something really quick. But the interest days and getting the new prospective students in, that's really what's going to hurt us the most. But I hate to say it, in order to kind of press that point that PDs need to be paid, Joe may have to do that. We may have to give them talking points. This is what you need to do. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I think, yeah, I do think so before we played hardball and they've been fighting for PD funds. And before I wasn't sure they were gonna fight for PD funds. So like that to me has sort of been the shift. But I agree that we can say, hey, Joe, you get to do the interest days, you get to do the scheduling issues. Yeah. I mean, go ahead, Janet.
I was just gonna say, I like Joe so much, so it like hurts. I think he's been such a good advocate for us, and just on a personal level, it's like, ugh, like I know, especially knowing, you know, he's got things happening with his wife and cancer, and so that all sucks. Mm-hmm. But I agree 100% with you, Meredith. Like, we're enabling the system if we do, you know, I mean. So I think it's fair to acknowledge all of that when we hand him the talking points.
Right.
The fact is he's getting paid and paid well as a chair. They get compensated well. I mean, compared especially to like program directors.
Compared to me, I'm the lowest paid person in this department.
Yeah.
Other than
so I think we just like I'm you know, I'm hearing a lot from my students about like the narrative of like social workers don't make money and like we give ourselves away and like, you know, they're already struggling with it. So I just think we gotta put our money where our mouth is, or I don't know if that works, but you get what I think. So I just want to support you, Meredith, with that, you know, drawing that line in the sand and just recognizing how it may be really not comfortable at all because we feel bad for Joe.
I know.
But that doesn't, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it's not even,
That's why we
that
need
I
a
feel
program
bad.
director who's compensated.
yes. I mean, I'll just say it's not only just my concern for Joe, it's also my concern that Joe, I mean, we're really competing for students on some
Right, our
level
program
with
too.
with
It's,
public health. And so if he has students, like, I think he'll just go, oh, that sounds like public health, and he'll talk public
Yeah.
health for an hour, and then will the student be swayed out of social work? That, I don't think you would do it on purpose. It's just more of a,
Right.
you know, there's limited students coming into our college with very similar interests.
gonna hurt
And
us, any even if he's representing us, he doesn't know us as well as we do. So I mean, any way you slice it, it's not ideal. I mean, it's not good. Like, it's not gonna help us recruit students to our program.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, and then I think the other piece would be the with the scheduling stuff, I think their tendency would be to cut. So just just because, one, it's less labor on everyone in the summer, but also because there's a push to cut budget stuff. So I mean, I'm just saying that just so you guys have a realistic
no, I think that's helpful. We need a whole
what
picture.
consequences might be. And I'm really cool with whatever the group wants to do. I know that I'm gonna have to go a little bit over the end of the semester to finalize the fall schedule and all that, just because I mean, it's just been impossible to get to all that.
Right.
So but I will feel like I haven't been taken advantage of if I'm able to end like the end of May, and then I'll be fine. I do
And
have
I think we need to support both of your autonomy, like whatever works for you, Heather. You've given so much, and then Meredith moving into the role. You know, I don't want to say, well, if you decide to do it, we're not going to. I mean, if you decide to do it and you want us to help, I'll help.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to support wherever, I mean, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I echo that sentiment about, like, mainly it's your vision that, like, whatever that is.
Yeah. I mean, I feel angry that it's not compensated more and just automatically. And so from that standpoint, I definitely like the enabling the system thing. But I get all the points, Heather, that you're saying, so however you want to do it, Meredith, I think we'll back you. How does that?
Yeah.
And I just wanted to can you
Sorry,
hear me?
I'm
Okay.
gonna
And I
repeat
just
now.
wanted to let you know that if it helps, in college council meeting also, there have been some positive talks about like program director pay, because
Oh,
no one
good.
wants to do that job, especially during the summer. And
Mm.
with restructuring and everything that is the talk of the town currently, that was one of the emphasis that why people don't want to do, and then we are left with like and also because with the CBA rules and regulations and everything, that how we are not complying to that as well. So there has been I don't know if the dean is familiar with how things happen here, and so if he's realistic or not, I don't know about that. But then he has been very positive about that.
Yeah, I think it's gonna happen. The answer hasn't happened before.
Yeah.
We're gonna not
Yeah.
have our next meeting, so I just wanted to like,
Yeah.
a plan C maybe is a better way of putting it, because plan B is that it's going to Joe and they just deal. But I think also Sherry will be paid for sure. So also realizing some of that will then probably end up on Sherry's plate. I have no doubt they will attempt to put it onto Sherry's plate. So I can let Sherry know that as a committee, well, I'm recording, so she'll know, but that we support her too, and that she should be able to just exclusively be doing field, because she's doing this out of the goodness of her heart, even though she's being paid, because she wanted to be done. She
Right.
didn't want to do this. So, and it's complicated yet again, because she's got quite a few students. She's going to have to handhold more than she normally does. And so it's more time intensive than I would want it to be for her. So I think, we covered that. Graduation is May 6th, the virtual one. So the field sections are going to do in-person sort of celebrations. I assume that like last April Friday, before the institutional break days that come after. And then we'll do a virtual one. The undergrads really were a part of planning it. So there'll be some original poetry work from some students. And then they want to do superlatives. So they've come up with like awards, silly awards for students. So I'm hoping that ballot comes out soon and we can get that out to the students, and also that we can get it out to you guys. But that's definitely in the works. Chelsea's been working on the invite, and another student in the senior group. And then they had a whole like little council of seniors who were part of planning it. So.
And now that we are talking about it, I'd just like to let you know that the Phi Alpha is planning to do their induction ceremony on 23rd of April.
Okay. What time?
They have not gone so far. Got so
Okay. No, that's okay.
What's the date again?
23rd of April.
So if it's
And they want to do it in person. And I've been telling them, like, if it is not possible, that's okay. We can do it virtual, and we can give candles to everybody, and in their like little boxes, they will have their candles, and they liked that idea. Let's see what happens.
okay. So I have something until 5 that day, but if it's after 5, I would love to come. So yeah, just keep
I'll
us
keep you.
posted.
I'll keep everybody posted.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Martha. Okay. And I wanted to share with you guys what Meredith and I have been working on in terms of the syllabi, the matrix, and I got some of it done today. And I think this is something too that I would like to do just as a courtesy to Meredith, but also to leave this place a little better than I came in as. There's some stuff that's definitely drifted. Is that the experience you had, Meredith? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I did see a lot of drift, and some of the stuff I'm like, it's a little bit concerning too. So yeah, so I'm glad we're talking about this today.
Yeah, I think the big thing. So for those of you that weren't part of the self-study and don't know the BSW matrix, basically every class in the BSW program has been linked to a competency, and then there's an assignment that should be linked to those competencies in each of the classes. So there's been a lot of adds, which is not a bad thing. Adding is great. I mean, if you're doing above and beyond that, I think is wonderful, but there's things that have been missing in the syllabi. So one thing that I noticed, and I didn't get to look all the way through yours, Meredith, so please pipe up with everything. But one of the things is that some of the syllabi do no longer link assignments to competencies. Right. There's no mention of what assignment goes with what competency. So that is probably the thing that is most concerning to me, because we really need to have that, and that not just for our self-study, but now Meredith's going to be asked every year to annually connect our competency measures to the assignments in the class. So that will be the first thing, is really looking and seeing where the problems are, and then letting the instructors that normally teach the class know. I think the other thing that I noticed is that really we should have distance learning syllabi for each of the classes that we've been doing distance learning for a while. So 1030, HBSC, some of them that we're piloting now as online, I wouldn't worry so much about until it becomes like a part of our system. But those ones that have been around for at least since our self-study, I think they need a distance learning syllabus, because I don't think the assignments are the same. They just look much different online than in person. The other thing is some of the competencies are just outright missing. So, and some of them, it's weird. There's competencies on there that they're not assigned,
Right.
Which is okay if it's added. Like, so like Sherry's 2010 class, she added another competency, which is fine, but she needs to have the core, and she does. But some of them, I don't know if it's in transferring syllabi or all, because we've had so many new adjuncts and faculty teaching new content. that some of the competencies have gotten lost, or the wrong ones are on the wrong syllabi. So that gets to be corrected. I think the other thing that whole matrix is put together, and one of the things CSWD wants to see, is that we have a variety of assignments. So what I'm also noticing is that when we had a nice diversity in the assignments, some of that diversity's gone away. Where there used to be like a presentation and a paper and an exam, there's just exams. So we have to be careful there too, because I don't think that will hurt us with the university accreditation piece, but it will hurt us when we come to our self-study. So I guess for me, the next step is, well, looking carefully at both of what Meredith and I have done and put together like a little snapshot of, hey guys, teaching 1030, we need this stuff built back in. So however that looks, and also just letting people know, like I see Arvin as the lead on online for sure for 1030, but I see Dr. Pryor right now as the lead for the in-person 1030 class. So if you guys know, then you can help the other folks teaching to make sure that we stay in line. I think it will help Meredith, particularly because we're having to do this sort of mapping of assignments to competencies, that it doesn't shift so much. Like once we fix it, it's sort of, as a faculty, we help to keep the drift from happening by like teaching in teams. So like Mamta, you and Josh, if you're both teaching HBSC, that you just check on each other, make sure you're not drifting too much.
Yeah, and speaking of that, Heather, when I got HIPSI, like some of the assignments, I took them away because you were using them in other class as well, right? So, and I built a new stuff. And with that, the core competencies may have remained the same, but it may have added or so. Yeah, it will be helpful for me to see like which originally were there, so that I know that which competencies were used in which courses.
Yeah, so I can give you an example of Anne's syllabus for 3110. She just changed the language to be more appropriate for now, right? So instead of using the word diversity, she uses like multicultural or, so I think sometimes it's just they rename the assignment. But I think that, because I have said to all of you and I've said to all the adjuncts that you can change assignments as long as it's still speaking to the same competency, right? So if you alter an assignment, it's fine, but we do need to rename it, or at least say, hey, this is what this assignment's called right now. Like instead of Shadow Beast or whatever, that you're doing something else, or that we make it sound very generic so that it fits multiple instructors too. Because so like having a creative piece or having an artistic piece of that helps us with the diversity of assignments that we have. But we don't have to have it so specific where it's like, write a poem. Well, like you might do that, but then Josh might not. So like just saying that there's like a creative component to the assignment, I think is what we want to make sure is in there.
Okay.
And then I think it helps us to then go back as a BSW program and say, hey guys, like, I did that sort of writing assessment. We don't really have that many papers. So then when we get upset with students about not being able to write, we have very few like big writing assignments, deciding where we want that to be in the program so that we can improve upon those things. And I think it's just helpful. It's a helpful thing to sort of look at and go, oh gosh, all we have is exams,
one of the things,
or all we have is quizzes, right then.
Yeah, I think one of the things that has happened is because we don't have in-person meetings now, like staff meetings. That's because when I got like new courses during the pandemic, like, all right, I'm teaching HIPSI 2 form to this undergraduate, and I didn't even know that I was teaching. So it was like on the spur of the moment, okay, I'm preparing this syllabus, and then I have not taught that before, so I'm building my own assignments.
Yeah.
So
well, and I think we want that, right? We want the instructional freedom, and also I don't like, you want to bring yourself to the classroom, that it's more likely to work for the students and for you. So we want to make it flexible enough that people bring themselves to the classroom. I think we should probably not use the syllabi from COVID years as our examples, because they're not accurate, I don't think, to how we normally teach. So I would say, fall of 2019, prior to the shutdown, so none of the revisions after shutdown, that we go no farther in than that for now, just so it's accurate to like what we normally teach. And then as we get closer to the self-study, we're going to want to pull things that are more current. But for Meredith, for you, it'll be a big improvement from what I sent in, because it was from our last self-study. So that's so many years back that even if you started at 2019 fall or even 2019 spring, it would still be a huge update for the university. But I think instead of us waiting to like have this big monstrosity closer to when, I think it's nice to clean it up now, and then be mindful of, hey guys, be careful not to, are your competencies in your syllabus, or, and not just mention, but are they linked to assignments?
I think where people struggle though is being able to link the assignment back to the competency. I mean, I see this like all the time with my students. Like trying to go, okay, well, wait, so we're doing this, and what I don't really even know what competency this, links back to. And I saw it more with adjunct professors than I did with faculty, because I think adjuncts are just not thinking that this is the way that we have to go. And the other thing that I saw when I was reviewing the syllabi is, yes, okay, so we do want our instructors to be able to have some flexibility in how they're going to deliver the core assignments, but those core assignments still need to be there. So for example, I can't even think of one off the top of my head. And I was like trying to look at my notes here. Like there'd be certain assignments that were just completely eliminated, like not even a semblance of something was in there. And I think we kind of have to be specific on, these are the assignments that have to be in the syllabus. Now, how you want to deliver it, that's different. If you'd rather it be an experiential play versus writing a paper, that's great. But these have to be present in your syllabi. The students have to do these assignments, and they need to be linked to these certain competencies. So
yep.
I don't know if we could have like a master syllabi that each adjunct gets. Feel free to play around with it, but you can't eliminate these things.
Yeah, I feel like that's what we have tried to do. I think what we need to do is just have like a matrix that goes out with the class that has like, hey guys, these are the assignments that you can't mess around. Sometimes it's a lecture, right?
Yeah.
So if we set a lecture and then the lecture goes bye-bye, it's not in the syllabus anywhere, in the course outline, then it looks like it's not being done. So I think we can easily put that into a chart, that just says these things have to be in the class in some form, right? If not, we have to alter the matrix, which is no problem to alter the matrix, but we have to make sure all competencies are covered. I think too, some of them didn't. It said the competency was covered in the class, but there was no assignment linked to it at all. So
I was assuming that was because it was linked to the lecture. It was a lecture topic, but I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes there wasn't anything. Like the practice class, there was practice one class. It just linked the class, but there was no assignment given that linked to the competency. And so I mean, for your sake and for our sake, we have to have at least one assignment that's linking that class to the competency. So, right. I mean, I think once we've figured out where the holes are, we just let everybody know, here's the holes. And maybe in teams, like if all the 1030 people get the little chart and it says this needs to happen, and then they work on that, I think it'll be much easier for us, even as a committee next year, to go in and look and see, like, we want to sort of do an audit periodically on the syllabi, and maybe, this next year's a good time to audit. And then we want to audit a little closer to the self-study. But I mean, I think this committee could be very helpful to that. process.
I know, I know there's been like a push for us to get more term papers in across the curriculum because of writing concerns. And I just want to make a plug for like keeping the practice classes, like the kinds of writing, like neighborhood assessment, grant proposal, and you know, psychosocial assessment, progress note, treatment. Like we only have the 3 practice classes and the interview class, but we have theory classes, we have policy, we have research, we have lots of other spaces for like the traditional academic term paper. And I just want to make sure we have some spaces that we're really focused on, like the kinds of writing that our students are going to be asked to do professionally, which typically isn't a term paper,
Right.
I agree,
which
yeah.
would be the practice kinds of
Right.
classes.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think we had talked about, well, there, I mean, HBSC 1 already has some things built in that are a little closer to that, but I know the policy class, we had decided to have a larger writing, at least have a larger writing piece where they have to like sustainably write something bigger than 5 pages. Just so they at least had one paper that was a little longer. And then obviously the research class, there's things going on, but that has been really group writing. So that's been part of the concern.
Okay.
And then the electives, like the social work electives, really saying, hey guys, you know, how can we build, even a shorter research type paper into the electives so that the students hit that. I think also those classes they're super enthusiastic about, so might be more excited to do research papers, but those have been the main pushes. But when we went through the writing, most of the writing was reflective writing pieces, and which I mean are important to building a strong writing voice, but I think not getting enough practice so they feel prepared for grad school has been a concern of the students. So that's where we had talked about pushing for a little bit larger papers. And I think it's smart to remind folks of that while we're reminding them of the matrix stuff. So I appreciate you guys bringing that up. I don't know what your thoughts are, Mamta, about HBSE 1 or 2. I think of those places as good places for a little bit longer papers, but
Yeah, that's what I have currently in my both, in fact, all 3 of my HIPSI, and that's why I'm paying for it.
yeah,
because
yeah,
because your students have been after me, like, haven't you graded it? Like I have 32 of you, and then I have 3 of those classes, and
yeah. I think us thinking of ways for the GAs to help us out with some of that stuff too, because I read 300 pages, over 300 pages in my policy class within like 2 weeks. My eyes were, it was bad. My head was just like wah wah wah. So yeah, maybe where the writing intensive classes are, we talk as a group and just think about ways we can make it easier on ourselves, but still give them the experience.
no, I give them at least 2 long papers, one towards the end, one in the middle of the semester. And then there are many reflection papers. So some of them are longer, some of them are shorter again, some of them are 2 pages, some of them are longer than that. And it is always guided reflection. So they have to think about it, read it, think about it, and write it. So
yeah. I think the writing piece is a work in progress. We just got to keep, refining and.
But my frustration is still, they are not reading my comments. They are not reading my comments because I'm still getting bibliography, works cited, and I'm like on the Blackboard, I'm going in and I'm scratching it with the red because that's what the Blackboard does. And then I'm saying references and they're not reading it. And I put sticky notes all through the paper. And then I give overall comment and they're not reading it.
Yeah. In the writing group, we've been talking, students are find feedback at all super painful. I think we almost need like a thing about taking feedback as neutral and as like a gift to like improve or have you grow. Because they were literally just like, I won't look at the comments. I just refuse to. Like, but that's the whole point of the comment.
And then why am I wasting my time? I'm
I
sorry,
know.
but
I know. So I think
I learned that they taught a technique of sandwiching the statement. Like you
Yeah.
start with the
Yep, and that's
positive.
what I do too.
I do too. And
Say,
they're paying
maybe
for
if
the
we
feedback.
try.
I mean, they're paying for it. It's personalized, ways for them to grow and improve. I mean, it's
And that's why one of the students asked me, and I said, this is all good, but you said this is all good. And I said, and I'm in my head, I'm saying, read past that. I have to motivate you to read it.
right. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a pickle that we're Olivia from the Writing Center too has some ideas on feedback in general, but I think our students, I don't know. I think maybe having some early orientation to just emotional intelligence, or like how it's important for us to be able to give feedback to clients, but them give us feedback, right? Like this is a part of like becoming smarter as emotionally as well as writing wise. And so like, how do we create a culture where we're okay with, taking in that stuff? And I don't know the answer, but I feel like it's definitely necessary. But yeah.
And that's what I tell in the class also. It is not a criticism, but it is a place to grow from. So look for my like individualized sticky notes on the paper itself, and then the overall comment on the paper.
Yeah.
But there's only so much.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I mean, I feel like we're always moving in the right direction. We keep talking about how to improve and at least own our side of it, right? And then hopefully come up with ways to make it easier to own it on the other side. But I think that's the brick wall I'm running into now, is just hearing that they refuse to look at the feedback.
I mean, regrading it, like letting them resubmit it works. I mean, but that's more work. And it's also interesting because then I get like feedback from the students that got it right the first time. Well, like everybody gets A's in your class because you let people, redo it over and over with your feedback. Like somehow it makes their A that they got like with the first pass, like not as A-like, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm like, the point is for everybody to master the, whatever it is we're working on. So if somebody has to redo it 3 times and then they have the same grade as you, like that doesn't drop your grade of like the excellence that you did. It's, I don't know, it's interesting.
Yeah.
I have allowed students to redo their papers if they failed. And they can get a maximum of a B, like in their redo, because otherwise, but anyway, so that's what I did last semester in my HIPC one.
Yeah, I'm not
because I made a mistake of not writing, explain this, describe this, and they wrote the whole 100-point paper in bullet points.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. I get that.
I mean, I'm not suggesting it. I mean, I have like with the practice, there's smaller class sizes too, like to have a big, class with like 30 or 40 people and to let everybody like redo every assignment, I'd be pulling my hair out. So
yeah, and it is like there are 33 students.
I can do that more because I don't have the volume of grading that you do. But
yeah, no, these are good discussions, I think. Yeah, I think it's really helpful to hear what we're all doing differently. That I think it gives ideas. I mean, for a while there, I tried peer review too, so that they got peer feedback. And sometimes I think that was more work than just me doing it. Cause like, even then they're not practiced at giving feedback. And so sometimes the comments were harsh in a way that was, even when you're giving them that sandwich idea, doesn't mean that they take it to the level you would hope that they would. But yeah.
I know that I start off every class early in the semester, and I talk about what is the value of mistakes, because all of our students are very geared toward this perfectionist thinking. and realizing that mistakes are the only way that you can learn. And so like I do this like little mini soapbox lecture about how, you know, I'm going to see mistakes and I want to see mistakes because then I know that you're going to grasp the concept. So when I give you feedback, you have to think about that feedback is you just made a mistake and now you're going to incorporate what I tell you so that you can improve, because we're struggling for progress, not perfection. It doesn't matter. They still don't read my stuff.
Well, I also think we have such a nice diverse group of students, though, some who've come from incredible education privilege and some who've had horrible, you know, systems that they've come through.
Yeah.
So if you're in classes where a good majority of students have had that privilege and are bragging about how well they've done in the class, and then you're someone that's struggling and it really didn't necessarily have anything to do with you, it's hard not to take it personally. I think it hurts, but also it's our job to figure out how can we do this so we sort of level the playing field a little bit and give people room to grow and learn to get into that space. But they're not all coming with the same tools. I mean, they're just not. So I think that it's really, you know, it's one of the hardest things that we get to negotiate as faculty. You know, it's not simple. But I think that's great. I think talking about mistakes, like I just rush through things and these are like, oh, I got to do that again. Or, you know, I used to do stuff and I just forget because I'm just going by the seat of my pants all the time, or I'm on fire at all times. So, I mean, it's nice to be reminded to do some of that. And yeah, I mean, and I appreciate getting to hear what you guys are doing and just the different levels of excitement over it. But yeah, I think this is an opportunity too for us just to remind folks that students are different and some excel at certain, you know, have different places where they're strong, right? So some students are just really good at the quizzes and some students aren't. And some students are really great at the papers and some students aren't. And so it's important to give variety so that they have a, you know, more chance to do well and to feel confident in themselves as students. But yeah, and that's the whole reason why I know CSWE has us do it, is because they want to see that we're making an effort to not act as if all of our students look the same when they come into the classroom in terms of how they organize their thoughts, how they read things, how they write things. It's going to be different. So yeah, and I think the university's looking at that more and more too, which is good. It's getting us into the sort of anti-racist pedagogical spaces that we want to be in, right? I mean, so good. But we're right now, I just have to stop the carousel from going for a second to just see where we are, take a snapshot so we can like build from there. And I think us supporting Meredith and doing that next year too. And you know, I think also that we can all approach the faculty. So it's not just Meredith saying, these things need to happen. It's like, you know, Janet and Arvin and myself and Mamta and Sherry saying it so that it's clear that it's like, this is something that we need or we want as a program and not just on one person.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, it's the same message and consistent message that goes out.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's beyond school. I mean, I was thinking about this when I was doing the MSW app reviews, but I appreciate that we do, you know, we evaluate like the writing, the mechanics of the writing versus the ideas separately, because people can have absolutely like stellar, brilliant ideas, but when they're packaged in writing that's not, you know, well done according to writing convention, that completely tends to delegitimize, like people don't take that seriously. So like going out in the world, you know, they need to be able to package their ideas in a written way that's going to help, you know, them to be taken seriously, because they've got great ideas. I mean, the world needs those ideas. So like, you know, it really is not just like, well, I have to write this dumb paper and then I'm done. I mean, you know, most of them have got, you know, things they want to do in the world. And if they can write about that, you know, in ways that'll help them be taken seriously. I mean, it's unfortunate, but it's true. You read something with like grammar and spelling errors and people are going to question value of it.
Right.
They just will. Like the packaging, it might be the most beautiful thing inside, but if the packaging doesn't look like it's supposed to, it's so. I mean,
Yeah.
it really is. They need to be able to.
Yeah, I mean, I remember hearing just in terms of like learning about critical pedagogy that it's like you're preparing them for like the oppressive system, but at the same time empowering them to push against it, right? So like that, I don't know what that fine line looks like, but I think that's what we're always sort of facing, right? Is, what is sort of limiting people, but yeah, knowing the rules of the game that will help them be successful, but
packaging
also
counts. It's not, I'm not saying it's right, but like, I think when you were like, what you were talking about your example, Mamta, like it's good, but I mean, like, it sounds like their ideas they had some good ideas in there, but they probably needed, to put those together to package them so that they can be effective for the mainstream world, which, isn't as inclusive and just and a whole bunch of other things as we would like it to be, but that's where we're at right now.
Yep. All right, so that's where I think those were the things I wanted to make sure we covered today. I don't know if there's anything else that you guys have concerns about. Yeah.
I have a question. So I'm gonna try to but I'm gonna email Sandy, like all of us, and I'm gonna say I don't know. I'm kind of like thinking about being obnoxiously silly with like, but saying I'm like, what's an incredibly boring topic? Like I was gonna say, like I went to this amazing training on like engaging syllabi writing that I think, we should have a whole faculty meeting for, like something that she's like, what? And then
you can talk about the same thing that we are talking about, that our syllabus are going all the way and we need to really get together about the syllabus.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay, our syllabi are going all over, and
we as the BSW committee noticed, because we just did the syllabi review, going to assume the same thing is happening with the MSW program. So we all need to come together as a faculty to figure out what core components of the syllabus that has to be there, semester after semester. We all have to be
now because we're all prepping for fall this moment.
Right. Right. We are. I am. So
I still want to add, I went to an amazing, 3-hour training on syllabi writing.
Yes, put that in there. It was 3-hour training.
And I want to share the components
we
of it.
cannot have drift. We cannot.
And I want you all to like be really enthusiastic. Like, oh my gosh, we would love to go to a thing on syllabi training. Please
we have found this one new thing.
We would love to talk for hours about how to write a syllabi.
Yeah.
That sounds so exciting and helpful.
We'll be the cheerleaders for whatever you propose.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then is somebody collecting money for Sandy for like a gift?
I just asked for ideas for what we could do, and I know
Anne said for who? Anne said
that's for George.
Yeah, that's for George. Okay.
it's up to the group. I think Janet was willing sweetly to volunteer to set up a surprise for her so that we can
I'll finagle like getting us all together, and I'm gonna actually have her do it. She's good at it.
Oh, there's no Schitt's Creek. There's no Schitt's Creek. You're having Moira design her own surprise birthday party. Okay.
Well, she won't suspect it.
She won't.
I don't mind.
Go ahead, Mamta.
I was saying I don't mind collecting, except that I don't have either Venmo or PayPal or those kind of things.
I mean, I can collect because I have a Venmo account.
I have a Venmo too. I don't mind. I just wanted, we'd have to open it up to, I can't imagine that the faculty wouldn't want to.
Oh, I'm sure that everybody would want to. That's why just to get a, thank you for everything you've done for the program forever. So.
I don't know how to do a bingo card. I don't know. And I need ideas for like Sandy things if we're serious about playing Sandy bingo, but I don't know.
Oh. Celia will know the scoop, I feel.
Oh, that's true. Celia would. Sandy like made because I know there's things like she sends links for meetings. It's a big one.
Yeah.
But we need a few. Anyway.
She was quite the rebel. she's so cute. But like I was trying to explain to her like what like radical social work is like in terms of like theoretically, right? And she was telling me that she was a radical once, and like I'm not even, I never suggest I'm a radical just to like put it out there, but she at her graduation she went to one of the private schools here in Toledo. It might have been St. Ursula's. I don't want to get that wrong, but they were mandating what all the girls had to wear to graduation, and she refused and ended up going barefoot across stage. So she refused to wear the shoes. So she was sharing that story with me
That's
about,
hilarious.
and I guess she
Funny.
had dreads in high school too. She's quite the rebel.
Yeah, she had to be St. Ursula. That would never have flown at Notre Dame. Trust me, I'm Notre Dame alma mater, so had have been St. Ursula.
And I don't want to get the wrong school because that would cause trouble, but that's something I know. She's told me, but she's pretty
That's
private.
awesome. Walked barefoot across high school graduation. Had dreads in high school. Oh my God, this is just gonna be fun. Yeah, you know what? Let's start collecting.
Yeah, it's all motivated now.
I feel like Anna Schramm probably knows some scoops. So, yeah, I'm trying to think of other people that she's.
It doesn't have to be things we all know. It could be like little known Sandy factoids that we could all just know and appreciate about her.
She's always positive, even when she's trying to not be. She always slides in. You know, that was really great, but I think we need to move on.
Oh, poor Sandy's had to put up with my ass for 3 years. Yeah, no, she's definitely had her moments where she's hard to be positive. But she does. She's a very sunny person.
Had dreads. Always positive. How did you say that, Meredith? Even when she's not trying to be?
Yeah. Well, no, it's not that when she's not trying to be. Even when she knows she has to be harsh, she always starts it with a very on a positive high note.
Even when she's trying to be harsh, or even when she's harsh.
Yeah.
This is all great discussion. We need to continue this, right?
Right.
Yeah.
No, this is all wonderful, you guys, but I really think we need to move on.
I know she's so good at
Transition.
stuff. She's so great at getting us to
Mhm.
stay on topic. Yeah.
Transitions, rambling staff at meeting. Rambling staff to next topic.
She's a good shepherd.
She is. Herding cats. She's figured.
She's figured out how to do that. Talent.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so then what did we decide? Do you guys just want to, I'll send something out to everybody on gift donation for thank you gifts?
Yeah.
I figure I can just get her like an Amazon card, which I can digitally send her, so
Perfect. That's nice, and she can get whatever she
whatever.
needs.
Yeah.
Yeah. that sounds
And Meredith, I'll leave a check in your
Okay.
mailbox today.
Or I'm here until, yeah, because you're usually here. I'm here until 5, no, 4:30. I'm here until 4:30
Oh, okay. So I may not see you, but I will leave it for you.
in there. Okay. Yeah.
in
She
there.
likes Microsoft Teams, right?
Yes. Oh, well, she does WebEx.
No, she has WebEx.
WebEx, that's it.
Yeah, because she's my WebEx mentor. She taught me how to do it. So now I feel comfortable with it. So
Mamta, have you checked your mailbox lately?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Oh, no, I just wanted to check because like, and then I think, Janet, you too need to check your mailbox, I think.
I checked it, but it was like last week, so I think I
Oh,
must be due
okay.
again.
All right.
But no, I did. I had a big stack.
Okay.
So I come in at nights and don't always go to the workroom.
Yeah, no, I put some things into mailboxes, so I just noticed they were still sitting in there. So-
Oh, then I probably do.
No, it wasn't this week so far. So you're cool.
Sometimes I go in there and I forget to check my mailbox.
I always
because-
forget. I always forget to. Take it.
I'm glad it's not just me. I was gonna say, or I go into the workroom and I just don't check it. I don't know why.
Yeah, me too. I go in there with that intent and then I come out with something else.
I don't know what what do I do? No one's in there. It's just me. It's night. I go in, I do something, I leave. I don't check my box.
Oh, you're
And
reminding
next week onwards, I'm planning to come there regularly from next week onwards because I'll be vaccinated. So
Oh, very good.
I
Yay.
only have my first one. Are you vaccinated, Meredith?
Yep, well, I got my first one and then my second one is the day before my last BSW class. So what is that, the 22nd?
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'm like,
Hopefully you'll be okay for that.
yeah, well, and it's just funny because I did a complete April Fool's joke for me because my first vaccine was on April Fool's Day and I did not read the time correctly. So I showed up here on campus at 8 a.m. thinking that's when I was going to get my vaccine. It turns out it was 8 p.m.
Oh, boo.
Oh, Meredith. Oh, no.
So I had to turn all the way around, go back home,
No.
rearrange my whole schedule
Oh,
to come back
my.
down here at 8
Oh,
p.m. at night. So
no.
now I have not made that mistake. I have it on my schedule correctly for the 22nd. So April Fools.
How about Janet and Arvin? How you doing?
One.
I got the Johnson one and done. So
Oh,
good
nice.
for you.
good one.
that's what they
Good
had.
job.
I was a little concerned because I guess the efficacy is different, but I guess the trials were like, different time. I don't know. That's what they had. Some
Mhm.
people like left and said they were going to schedule someplace else, but I decided I was there. I should
Yeah.
just get it. So
Yeah.
I'm
Cool.
vaccinated.
That's awesome. Yay.
Yay.
Yes, felt good.
All right, then.
Oh, yeah, that's
Right.
what I want to make sure. I'm going to ask the GAs to put something up on the new copier printer thing for all of us that haven't been. I've just been using mine really in my office or at home, but I don't know if everyone's feeling comfortable with it yet.
Oh,
or-
with the copier?
yeah.
Yeah, I am. mean, if
I
everybody
have
knows.
tried to copy, send the printout there, but it is not working.
Yeah, so maybe I'll ask the GAs to put up some kind of like easy instructions for us, just so that for
That
those
would
of
be
us
great.
reorienting to the new copy machine. and
Yeah, and
printer.
That'd be great.
Mamta, if you have been sending things to the copier and it's not going through, then you have to put in a trouble ticket and get with IT because there's something wrong from your computer to the map to the copier. Says it should automate, you have to go in there to release it. You have to put your login and, password to release it, but it should pop up because that happened to me earlier this semester and I had to do a trouble ticket with IT and they corrected it. So,
Okay, thanks for letting me know. Thanks.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'd just see what. Yeah, my computer in my office, they did something to it. Doesn't even connect to the internet, so I've been just using as a guest on there. I just go in as a guest. So like I'm a guest in my own office. So, and like I will probably do that until I have to absolutely beg Tim to fix it.
Just put in a trouble ticket. It's really easy.
Yeah, but he always wants me in there. He wants me in there when he comes and messes
Yeah.
with it. So,
You
but
could put on your ticket like get key. But now Patty's not there. But I used to say if please go in if I'm not there. Get key from school secretary and room blah. And
But now it is difficult because Patty is not there, right?
Yeah, so they won't be able to get in now. So that
Angie does have keys to. Angie Campbell has keys to our office. So, just if you guys ever
That
need.
could be my other.
So,
ticket
so it's the
for
same
my
process.
phone.
Tim comes in and does that, right? Meredith?
Tim or anybody from the IT.
Yeah, anyone from that office.
Yeah, Tim usually follows up though, but
Yeah.
Oh,
It has been so long.
Get keys for Meredith and Megan too.
shoot. I just realized I have a 2:30 meeting. I'm sorry, I have to go.
We all.
Bye.
do. Okay.
Bye. we all
All right,
should
then,
go.
bye.
I have a student waiting for me in a Zoom room.
All
I'll
right.
see you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Have a good one.
see you guys.